Hey y'all, Kentucky Farmer here, and today we are here on the Westbridge Hills map in my test game to talk about Courseplay, which is, in my opinion, one of the must-have mods for Farming Simulator 2015. One of the nice things about this game is that it allows you to involve yourself at different levels. If you want to manually plow, cultivate, plant, and harvest every field yourself, you can do that. However, if you want to take a higher level approach to managing your farm, the game gives you the option of hiring workers to do much of this basic fieldwork for you. Unfortunately, this built-in functionality is rather limited. Hired workers can have a hard time with some tasks such as working with hay, operating some of the more complicated equipment, and they're restricted to actions on a field, and often have a hard time with irregularly shaped fields or with obstacles. This is where Courseplay comes into the picture. It expands on the idea of being able to dispatch a helper to go do work for you, freeing you up to manage other aspects of the farm while giving you more control over how the work is done. Courseplay has 9 basic modes. The first mode is the grain transport mode. This mode is a load at the start route. The tractor will wait at the first point until it's full. It'll then drive the course until it finds an unloading trigger, where it will then stop and unload before continuing on with the course. These courses are often set up in a loop, allowing the tractor to drive it over and over again until it's unloaded all the cargo. This mode is typically used for transporting grain or windrow from storage to a sale point, or can be used for a field-side semi that will transport grain from the field to the storage silos. The second mode is the Combi mode. This works like a grain transport course, but instead of waiting to be filled at the start point, the vehicle will wait at the last waypoint for a combine or a forager to be within reach, and will then go to that harvester and unload it. Once full, the vehicle will drive the course and unload at the unloading trigger and continue on with the course, returning to the last waypoint where it will then repeat the process. The third mode is the overloader mode. This is basically a combination of the previous 2 modes. This mode is used to control a vehicle that will operate as an overloader. It'll unload a combine and take the grain to the field edge, where it can then unload into a waiting semi that would be running a grain transport course. The fourth mode is the Fertilize and Seed mode. This is a 2-part course. It's used for fertilizing and seeding. The first course is like a fieldwork course, which controls how the tractor will move over the field while working. The optional second part is a refill course that starts from the end of the first course, goes to a refill trigger, and then returns to the start of the first course. When the tractor is operating in this mode, it'll work in the field until the implement is empty, at which point it will drive to the last point and drive the refill course until it reaches the refill trigger. It'll stop, refill, then continue on the course back to the start of the first course, where it will then skip forward to the point where it left off and then continue with its work. The second course is optional if the field is small enough and the implement large enough that it will not require refilling to complete the operation. Fifth mode is the transfer mode. This course type is the most basic form of Courseplay. It allows you to have a tractor replay a recorded route. It'll drive from the start to the finish. At the last point, the tractor will return to the start point and repeat the course unless you activate the stop at last point or next trigger option. The sixth mode is the fieldwork mode. This is the most commonly used mode. This mode can be used for plowing, cultivating, harvesting, mowing, windrowing, tethering, baling, collecting bales, or collecting windrow with a loading wagon. Like fertilizing and seeding, this mode can be a 2-part mode for times when the tool will need to be unloaded. For example, collecting bales and windrow. The first course controls how the tractor will move over the field while working, and the second part is the optional unloading course that will tell the tractor where to go and unload once the tool is full. When in this mode, tools will automatically be folded, unfolded, and activated and deactivated. Balers will also unload automatically. Like seeding, when using an unloading course, the unloading course needs to start where the fieldwork course ends and stop where the fieldwork course starts. When a tool needs to be unloaded, it'll drive in a straight line to the stop point, start the unloading course, drive until it finds the unloading trigger. It will then stop and unload, and then continue unloading course back to the start of the fieldwork course, where it will then drive in a straight line to the point where it left off and resume work. The seventh mode is the combine self-unloading mode. This mode is similar to the overloader, except the combine itself will drive to a waiting semi and unload before going back into the field and resuming work. In order for this mode to work, the combine needs to be running as a hired worker or using auto combine. The 8th mode is the liquid manure transporter. This mode is used specifically for transporting liquid manure and requires the tractor to drive from the start point to the filling trigger. The course can then continue to an overloading point where it can then empty into a field-side container or awaiting a liquid manure sprayer. Once empty, the vehicle will continue on the course to the end point where it will then start the loop over again. The 9th and final mode is the fill and empty shovel mode. This mode is very specific but a very powerful mode that allows you to automate the unloading of the BGA bunker via a shovel on the front loader, telehandler, or wheel loader. It will then transport the silage and unload it into a bunker, hopper, or trailer. So that concludes the list of the 9 driving modes that can be done by Courseplay. This video is just the first in a series that will cover all of these Courseplay modes, including some tips and tricks that I've picked up while using Courseplay. In the next video in this series, I'll cover the basics of Courseplay and a demo showing how to use Courseplay in transfer mode. If you are interested in trying out Courseplay, I'll put a link in the mod description below. Hopefully you found this video useful. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them below. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, be sure to click the like button and subscribe for more farming simulator videos. This is Kentucky Farmer. Thanks for watching.